All right, hello everybody. My name is Master Chen.
This is Doxy.
And I'm Michelle.
And you are either watching or listening to episode 224 of Greynoise. This episode is the Black Friday episode. Now, normally, in fact, for the past 3 years, it's usually been me and one other. But we're here with a full crew today, and actually a pretty full audience as well. So, hey, everybody.
Hey.
See? There we go. Cool. And actually, thank you, Mr. Side Hands, for being off camera and giving us the iced coffee. Thank you so much. See, we really appreciate you. That's awesome.
I really, really, really appreciate you.
So normally on a Black Friday episode, hold on, let me back up a little bit. It is Friday, like every other Friday, even Black Friday. It is 7:30 p.m. On a Friday night, so that means we are live at the SYN shop. The address is 1075 American Pacific Drive, Suite C in Henderson, Nevada. We are still the Las Vegas Valley Hackerspace. There's no
spaces here.
We're the Las Vegas Valley Hackerspace.
The only space.
Great. Now
we could be the U.S. Hackerspace as well.
I'm going to say it like that from now on. Hacker Spas. What do you guys think about that? Hacker Spas? I think we have a new market.
So how would that be? What would that be?
It'll be a waterproof laptop. Oh, thank you.
It goes with the extension.
Yeah, and we're like kind of just laying back and
like a jacuzzi?
Yeah, like a jacuzzi, like a spa,
laptop?
like a hacker spas.
I was thinking like massage or
massage spas. Okay.
Like spas, like facial.
Hacker spas. Okay, sorry. Total tangent. Anyway, we are still the Las Vegas. Veggie. I'm sorry. Dude, this is my first one. I promise.
He's asking me.
Okay. I know I did. Okay, so we are still the Las Vegas Valley Hacker Space. For information on the shop, go to synshop.org. That's SYNSHOP.org. And for information on classes and the stuff that we do here, go to meetup.com/synshop. And for information on us as a podcast, go to Greynoise. It is there, GREYNOI.SE. We don't talk shit about Total. Or
what the fuck?
I'm okay.
Okay, I think
we don't talk shit about Sweden. we don't talk shit about Sweden. I've had too much of the internet in my life.
Okay, we don't talk about Sweden. No, I can't even do it.
Oh my God.
We don't talk shit about Sweden, so we can keep using that domain name.
There we go. She got it.
So, how has everybody's week been?
Oh yes, see, she could handle this. All right. So that was the question I was going to ask. How's everybody's week?
Short week, which is my favorite kind of week. That's it. I didn't do Black Friday shopping because I feel like it's a waste of time, and I'm waiting for Cyber Monday. Also, there's nothing I really want, unless there's something I don't know about that I should be wanting.
I think everybody's gonna. I mean, eventually, gotta go to that model. Hold on, I gotta take off this hat.
I don't know. You say everybody, but.
Well, okay, so I kind of got roped into the whole Black Friday thing a little bit.
Did you go today?
Yeah, I was asked to go pick up something, and I didn't go shopping though. I went straight to the pickup line and said, "Hey, we got this order, receipt, whatever." Boom. And
but you like people, wasn't it? Did you not find it interesting to go out and see all the people and their excitement or their anguish or their emotions?
I mean, they weren't as violent as I remember when I was a teenager.
It does feel a little bit more lame recently.
Well, when I was a teenager,
nobody's getting trampled.
I went to Target at 11 o'clock. Okay. It was no. Back then, this was before they started opening on Thanksgiving, which I think is fucking atrocious.
And it was people would camp out and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember that the pushing and the trampling and the shoving had a little bit more something.
Yeah. So back then, it was like a Target at 4 in the morning, and people were mean, violent, running over each other's feet. Because it was
4 in the morning.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't.
I think mostly 4 in the morning. I think having it at night makes it so much nicer.
No, do you think people are getting used to the idea that maybe these Black Friday deals aren't the greatest.
No, I think
it's
that
not like,
it's not. I don't know. I think the deals are more widespread, so it's not just like one place has the same thing. Only,
well, I think
and I
internet
think that
shopping,
the internet
yeah.
shopping
And
makes a
there's,
big
like,
difference.
There's like Prime Day. Like there's so many deals interspersed throughout the year.
Yeah.
It's not such a big thing to be like Black Friday anymore.
And it's not even like the way they have the doorbusters aren't the same. Like they have like this longer periods, or they roll them out in different segments, so it's not like the one doorbust like it used to be.
But there's somebody actually who was in the shop earlier today talking about how, like, you know, how many times a year do you have to buy a TV, right? Like you bought a
Well, how
TV
many
last
do you
Black
have?
Friday. Maybe you bought a TV the Friday before that. Like,
I
how
like
many
how you roll.
TVs do you need in your house? So maybe, and on top of that, like these.
But I mean, TVs are like what people love on Black Friday.
Yeah, I feel like that's the most commonly purchased item on Black. I wish I had
We
analytics on it.
need, we need statistics on that.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to fact check us, what is the most commonly?
No. The most commonly purchased
What's the
item.
most
Item.
common purchased item
I'm almost,
on a
I'm
Black
almost positive
Friday?
it's TVs.
So like,
I think TVs.
Either TVs or game consoles, probably.
like furniture is a horrible purchase on Black Friday.
Why?
Well, because they purposely buy cheaper furniture weeks ahead.
Oh yeah.
And have it marked up, and then mark
and
it
so
out.
then they discount it. Actually, that's one thing I wanted to bring up
Yeah,
today.
so it's not
They
really a
discount-
good deal at all.
Yep, they discount it to the point
Yeah.
where like they were going to sell you at that price anyway.
Yes. So like they'll mark it up right before and then
Yep.
mark it back down to whatever it originally was.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So,
exactly.
well, it looks like all of us are not fans of Black Friday.
No, I mean, I love Black Friday. I
You
don't
were
care
shopping
what
today,
say.
weren't you?
I did. I shopped last night, and then I went to a friend's house, and I was up to 4 a.m. And then I got up this morning at like 7, and I went shopping again, and I went shopping all the way up until like 5 p.m. today.
Well,
Oh.
Black Friday, I
So
remember.
like a whole almost
when-
24 hours of Black Friday.
When was that Target hack? Was that like 2 or 3 years ago? Where like there was a big Target breach and like they used like anybody who had a Target red card, like you had your shit compromised.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like they actually flagged my account because somebody in Pennsylvania or Pittsburgh tried to use my account, and like what saved me was I think it was a two-factor authentication, right? Which was like, I guess they entered the wrong PIN. I guess that counts as a two-factor, right?
I had someone reset my password on my old Yahoo account this week.
Oh, really?
When was the last time you had used it?
Oh, you're a victim of hacking. You're a victim.
Yeah,
When
but
was
What
the last time
happened?
you
Yeah.
used your Yahoo account?
I have it forwarded for like bullshit like from
Me
a long
too.
time ago, but
I-
I don't actually use it. So I went and changed it, and then had to change any password that was associated with it, and it was just
Yeah.
How
it's
long?
just annoying more than. And then but when I was changing, I went ahead and changed the email at those accounts too, to my Gmail account.
How long was
Yeah.
that process?
It took a few hours. It's annoying as fuck.
Like a few hours, like diligently, like.
Going through, changing the passwords, changing the emails on the account, setting up two-factor authentication on all the ones that I could, because these are like accounts I haven't used in a long time. That I just have it forwarded.
Yeah,
But
same.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
so I'm
Right.
sure my password got leaked somewhere from some, who knows, Yahoo. It's Yahoo,
So-
so.
So you went shopping. I got roped into shopping, and I'm sorry, Doc. So you said you didn't shop, or you
I've
did?
been playing video games all day.
Did you know? I'm sure online. There we go. I'm sure online they have like Steam sales, right? And like,
They do. Like I get emails from Steam sometime.
yeah, I got like 2 items on my wish list that are like
Yeah,
discounted
like
right
that.
now.
But
But I
it-
mean, these things are going on until Monday.
They're
So-
running until Monday, and also I have enough things to play. I just bought the new Star Wars game.
Yeah.
There's all this other stuff. Like
My daughter got the Nintendo DS 2DS. I don't
Yes,
know.
3DS.
The purple one? No, not the
three-
3D one. She didn't want the 3D one because she
Oh.
didn't like 3D. Her messes her
yeah,
up.
I mean the 3D one is kind of wonky
Yeah.
Didn't they
But
give
she
you
has the
headaches?
2DS, But
Like-
she likes it because it's,
Okay.
for Black Friday.
yeah.
Was that a good deal?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
like $150 or something.
I haven't bought a Nintendo handheld in a very long time. I miss
Well,
I miss
your-
Game Boys and stuff.
Your Switch is your
Mm-hmm.
handheld now.
Well, I don't have a Switch.
Oh, I have a Switch.
But yes, like I miss the actual like the 3DS was always too gimmicky for me, and the 2DS even too. Like I don't want 2 screens. I don't want all this stuff. I think
It
it's
was interesting because
Yeah.
it has like that, like she was doing off. It comes with Mario Kart pre-installed.
Yeah,
and,
and-
so it was like the bottom has like the map, and then
You
the
can see the-
top,
yeah, yeah.
and-
I mean,
but
it's cool,
I'm sure,
but-
like you get used to it. I'm sure it's-
yeah. But I miss the like just the Game Boy or Game Boy
But
Advance, whatever.
what I like about the Nintendo games is not like Xbox. You just buy it and it works, and it has everything. You can just play it.
What's wrong with Xbox?
Oh.
Well,
Oh,
She
I
has
mean,
a-
in the sense that
remember
you
she
don't
has
have
an
to pay
Apple
for
phone,
internet.
too.
You don't have to pay for.
So it just works.
extra,
online.
like there's no like expansion. I mean, maybe
But
are, but you
for-
don't need it. Is my point.
don't you
can
need to
just
pay
play
for
it.
all? Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
You can
I
just
got it.
play
I got
it, get it, and it works well. You don't
Yes.
need anything extra to make it work Like a lot of the Xbox games, you need internet. You need the
For almost
package,
all of
you
them,
need-
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Well, we've
So
talked about
it's-
this before about like how your devices are now just your dumb terminal and the internet is the mainframe. So like
Yes.
everything
Yeah.
has to connect to the internet in order to work.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Even for
Whoa, why the fuck do I have sound? Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
Oh no!
I pulled up the DMV story, so whenever you guys are ready for
What a
that.
perfect segue.
Sorry about that. My bad. Okay, so normally on a Black Friday episode, we talk about all the shit that the retailers are doing, but we beat the shit out of that dead horse. Oh, we have more alcohol. Awesome.
Not for you.
All right, so the first story that I think broke this week and was shared with us is, of course, California. The California DMV bringing in $50 million annually by selling motorists' personal information. So I'm sure maybe other states are doing this too, but I'm not surprised by California because, and there the alcohol goes. I'm not surprised by California doing this. I don't know why I'm not surprised.
Why did it come out? Like who? Like was it like leaked or something, or was there a report on
No,
it?
it was just reported on it earlier this week.
Because it seems interesting that they would release that number as well as tell
Yeah,
people.
it does
Oh, this
seem-
was an investigation by Vice.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that makes more sense because that's such a shitty thing.
Yeah, it says the department routinely sells names, physical addresses, and car registration information.
But what are they selling? Who are they selling it to?
Whoever's gonna be paying money
interested
for
third
it.
party, right?
Insurance companies, vehicle manufacturers, and prospective employers.
Oh, prospective employers. That seems illegal. For them to have your
Would it be?
DMV records?
I mean,
Because that's not public information.
would you argue that that's under like a standard background check?
Is it public information? Your
The DMV
records?
information is public information. If that's the case, then why are they selling it?
Yeah. If it's public, and you
That's
could just go get it.
interesting.
Then why would they have to buy it? That payment.
Oh, payment for
so
access.
so it's not public, but you can pay to access it.
It's public, but you have to pay. It's like
Hold on,
Wait,
yeah,
we have-
we
Community
gotta
might
get
come up.
it.
We
need
got
some
community might come and
clarification.
explain some
Okay,
stuff.
so to our understanding, it's public information.
But you pay to access it.
Yeah,
which
I'm-
means it's
I'm a little
not
confused here.
public.
Okay, so we got community mic coming
So
up.
typically, when you access information with the government, they charge you a fee for accessing that information. So if you do a FOIA request, for example, they are legally allowed to bill you for the time that it takes to get that data. So similarly, the state of California, even though it is a public record, they sell these items.
Like the fee for curating.
Yeah, and these are not cheap fees because if you buy, let's say, all the driver's license records, that's a lot of money that they put into that DMV system. I think it was,
So-
$300 million. So you
So-
pay for a fee to access.
The loophole then is they're not selling the records; they're selling access to them.
They're selling
work
the
to get to 'em.
records, the electronic media of that. See,
Oh.
there's legal privacy laws, and they have to be really strict on how they do it. And that's why they're selling your data, and each state is different. So they're selling your data, yes, but they're making it accessible because it's a public record.
So I could go buy some DMV records.
It's possible, yes. I
Except
don't
for-
know, though. I think you'd actually have to do a FOIA to get
It's
it.
time for an investigation.
I know that the voting record
Do
of
it.
Clark County is free and open, and it's about
it?
7 gigs. So I've heard.
Wow, interesting.
Hey, it's public information. Not that that matters.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, so I'm not surprised. It is very interesting.
I mean, that goes to the thing that people should be paid for their data, especially if they're selling it off to third parties. That we should get some sort of profit off of that.
Off of our data.
If it's my data, I want money for it. If you're selling it to someone, it's my data. I amassed it. Give it to me.
But a lot of your, okay,
yeah,
so a
whatever.
lot of
Is
your,
that your data or is it the DMV's data?
It's my data.
But
No, it's
you're,
not your data.
you're
Why is it
getting
not my
the
data?
service from the DMV.
But it's me. They
Or
wouldn't.
not
They,
server- not-
they wouldn't
but-
have that data without me.
Yeah.
it's still not
How?
it's still not your data as far as like ownership.
Well, I know it's
what I
not
mean.
mine. I know it's not mine. I'm not arguing that I own the data, but maybe I should.
Well, that's different. You see, the law is that you are not allowed to drive. It's a right. It's a privilege.
Okay.
So therefore, in order to drive, you have
You
to
have to give
supply
license.
certain information.
Yeah.
Which would be including your name and all that sort of good stuff. That is then public record. That is not your data.
Yes.
It's for them to go ahead and allow you to drive.
Yes.
You have the right to drive. So you can't consider that data your data.
Okay.
It's fundamentally wrong.
I misspoke. What I should have said was I should own that data. It
That's
should be
that's
mine.
what GDPR is for. Over in Europe, they have the General Data Protection Rights Act. So most of the world actually protects your data. Like
Not America.
PIPA from Korea, they have very strict controls on data and who can access it for personally identifiable data. We in the United States have HIPAA for health and medical stuff.
Yes.
But otherwise, the United States, it's a complete Wild West that you are a product and you have no privacy.
For
You
sure.
have no rights. And so say that fundamentally goes against the American way.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Oh no. Yeah.
I agree.
No, I totally. It's true, and I understand. I just think it's bullshit.
It is.
I just think it's absolute bullshit.
It is bullshit, but yeah.
That's yes.
Go out and vote and enact policy, or vote
Speaking
vote
of
for people
voting
who
records.
would enact policy that you care for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or do like what okay, so I learned another statistic speaking about California, and kind of maybe this is the same, not the same, but like related. I think the move out rate, 50,000 people moved out of California this year alone, like going to Idaho, Nevada, Utah, and another state. Doesn't sound like a lot, but
Arizona.
oh, and Arizona,
I
yes.
was guessing Oregon because look.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are moving out of that state because of state taxes, expensive to
California.
live, and maybe other bullshit like this.
Just because it's a shit state. Just,
Yeah, we don't like going there. I go there for Disneyland.
A lot of
and-
people. Well, yeah, Disney and stuff.
I mean, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
go there
shy
for
about
The
one
it.
weather,
destination.
the beach. Yeah.
Fuck the beach. Fuck the weather. Man, I do not like California.
He doesn't like anything about California.
I'm
He
not-
doesn't like anything.
I'm not quiet about it. I'm very vocal about how much I hate California.
Yeah,
Maybe
okay.
it's some to my endearment.
For anybody who's listening from
Detriment.
California, we like you. Well, I haven't met you, but I mean, we don't like your state government and a lot of your
Your
shit. there.
state. Yeah. Anyway, well, irrelevant.
Okay.
But yeah.
And by we mean the specific people speaking, not
Yeah.
necessarily
I speak
we.
for myself. I don't speak for anyone.
Yeah, I speak for myself. Apparently, I don't speak for. Well, I don't speak for you guys. Do I? No.
I hope
See?
not.
I hope not.
I was gonna say, I hope not.
I love cheese because I'm Doxy.
I mean, I'm wearing a shirt that obviously says no to that. So, also,
Wait, how long do we
I
have
feel
to
like
do
this is the last time I'm going to wear
that?
this
No,
shirt.
no. It's not even December yet. Wait.
Wait.
No, it's not.
Oh, but I'm not going to be here for like any of December.
At all?
At all?
Almost.
Well, then you have to wear it like one more time.
Like one more time. You ready to say goodbye?
Aw.
Ooh,
Should
we
we
have
have
to
a
make this a
ceremony?
special
We
episode.
should burn it? Yeah, let's burn it.
What,
We have a
live?
ceremony? Live.
No. Who wants to watch us burn a shirt?
Live.
Hey, we should. Anyway, okay, so I think we should make something special about it. Seriously, like a video and stuff.
We could do something,
We
but
could do
then
a-
maybe not live.
In memoriam, like a tribute to it.
Let's like have a Viking funeral for it.
Exactly.
Wait, you're gonna burn a shirt that Zenify got you for Christmas?
Yeah.
I hate what it represents now at this point.
But it's a gift.
It is a gift.
But it's his gift.
don't
He
like
can do whatever he
Zenify?
wants with it.
I like Zenify. That's not the issue. I don't like the. I like the shirt.
No, you
But
don't.
I just hate what it
it's a
represents
gift.
now.
He can do whatever he wants with it because
Also
it's
true.
his now.
Thank you. See, this is nice. I like to have somebody in my corner.
That's why I'm on this side of the table.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, well, okay, so the next thing we want to talk about today, besides Doxy's shirt, was there's an article here that says the internet is dying. Repealing net neutrality hastens that death. So a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember if it was last week or this week, last week or the week before, but we were talking about how the future of the internet is not going to be like one big free and open place. It's going to be bubbled spaces of, just the other day we were talking about how like there's only 5 real
Like
sites
websites
that
of it.
run the internet, which
Yes.
is Reddit, YouTube, Twitter, Google, and Facebook.
What do you mean by run the internet?
Like
that's
you-
just
I mean, like
what
you
actually
go
use.
to these places for your information.
Those are
You
your
don't go to a
avenues
website.
to get anything. Like if you're
Yeah.
gonna, if you're gonna read any news article, you're probably going to Twitter or Reddit. If you're gonna do any media consumption, it's probably on YouTube. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not. Yeah, probably any media consumption.
YouTube or Reddit is like the front page of the
yeah,
internet.
like in Reddit's here probably, even though it's not the largest website, it's one of the biggest suppliers
Right.
of content and
So
stuff.
the idea with this is
Yes.
to expound upon that idea from a couple of weeks ago is that the infrastructure is kind of already in place to shut it down if they wanted it to, like
to shut down.
the internet, like to
What?
turn off access to maybe this resource or that resource. It's not like a free and open place where you can just go anymore without maybe paying to play or some alternative route or things of that nature, right? So like example, right? YouTube earlier this week or last week was talking about how if you're not commercially viable or if you're not making money, they have the right to shut you down.
I didn't read the whole thing, but wasn't that in response to content that was aimed at children? So they were demonetizing you if your content was like supposedly child friendly, but it actually wasn't, like Logan Paul and Jake Paul.
I mean,
and
that
all
could have
those
been the
other shit
catalyst. That
people.
could have been the thing that maybe started that whole clause. But I
Yeah.
think it's not applying to just children's content. I think it's applying to like anybody who has a channel on the internet.
That's so
or,
weird.
on YouTube. Sorry.
Remember when anybody could post anything they wanted on YouTube?
But that's what we're talking about
Yeah.
here. Is that now
But-
it's not a free and open thing anymore. It's like
But do you not think that it'll just become someone else will open something else? Like, I mean, it's not like it always did. Like Facebook was like the social media site, and now we have Instagram and Twitter and.
But
You're gonna have to have a-
that's all.
That's all
you're
the
gonna have to
same
have a
thing.
company-
But I'm just saying, it's like you have new things that come and replace old things as things change.
okay, but you're gonna have a company that doesn't sell out to these.
You know, I
Bigger
say this about
companies.
once every 6 months or so, and you know who's going to save us? The porn industry.
You
They
do say
have-
What's
that.
okay? Hold on. How's
They
that?
they have the money, they have the backing, and they're already consumers of weird shit that like no one else is dabbling into.
Weird shit.
Yeah, like that no one else is dabbling into, and they have the backbone, I would say, to like do whatever. They have the capital to do whatever they want without fear of like repercussion from other smaller companies. Like even Google or Facebook. Like what are they gonna do to fucking Pornhub or whatever whatever the major company is? Because even like Brazzers, what are the other ones are? They're like owned by one company. So like
YouPorn or Pornhub? Or,
I don't maybe Pornhub, I don't know, but like all that's owned by one company, so like they have the capital to go toe to toe with any of the other tech giants. So
But
like
isn't that just the same thing as one of the other ones, just a different side
it,
of the
it
coin?
is, but and this is me being hopeful, I feel like they're more altruistic than Facebook and Google stuff. They're because like they have.
You think? You don't think that they're just interested in themselves and what?
I think they are definitely interested in themselves, but also interested in their consumers.
I'm
Yeah,
fast.
but wouldn't all the other ones be interested in the same things as
They
well?
they were initially, but they are not anymore. Because they're so big now. Who's not going to be? I mean, people are definitely not on Facebook. That's not what I'm saying. But for the majority of people, who's not going to be on Facebook? Who's not going to use Twitter?
I feel like Facebook's dying.
You think Facebook is
I
dying?
think it is.
I feel like it
I
is.
think
I
it's-
need some numbers on that, because if it's not Facebook, it's Instagram, which Facebook owns, and if it's not that, it's
How many kids the ages 12 to 18 on Facebook do you know?
I don't know any kids from 12 to 18 on Facebook. I will say that right now.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't think he wants to know any
I
kids.
don't have any. I don't have any.
Yeah,
I don't have
so-
any. I don't have any insight into that side of
Yeah,
the.
so people, I will tell you that kids that age don't want to be on Facebook.
But they're on
have
Instagram.
a
They don't
Facebook
want to be? Is there a
yeah.
reason?
Yeah.
'Cause your parents are on there.
Because everybody's
Yeah,
on the.
exactly,
They
parents
don't
are
want to
on
be.
there.
yeah, but Instagram.
And that's old people on it.
They're definitely on Instagram, right?
Yeah, they're on Instagram.
Yeah,
And eventually they will be the old people on Instagram, and then the younger generation's not
But I
going to
mean-
want to be
I mean,
on
TikTok's
Instagram.
already coming up.
but Facebook owns Instagram, so it's not like they're leaving the platform. They're just.
No, but it's a different
Different,
type of content sharing, though, right?
But
like,
it's the same company. Is
no,
what
right,
I'm
right.
getting
Yeah,
at.
But like,
but
you're not going to
still
go
basic.
on Instagram and talk about your day or post some political shit.
Have you been on Instagram? Yes, they do.
They do.
Well, yeah, but
Yes,
it's like
fucking do.
They post every
I go for
every
pictures.
moment on the fucking.
It initially was
the
like a
feed.
simple picture sharing platform, but it's like it is Facebook with like a sleeker UI now. It's
Yeah,
so
it's
fucking
different.
same.
Less shit.
okay, I can
Less
see
less
that.
shit. in the
Community
sidebar.
Mike.
One thing to consider is what happened recently to a developer of about 3,000 applications.
Ooh.
What happened was that he was on Google Play, and he had 500 million downloads for all of his applications. He specialized in weather and sports, and he wrote these 3,000 applications.
3,000 apps.
Yeah, what it was is that it was local weather and local sports teams, and created them as individual apps for download. Really nice idea. Within an hour, Google Play said you have repetitive content, and this guy had been in there for 8 years. Completely banned him not only from being a developer but from Google Play services altogether in 1 hour.
Because it was repetitive, as in
The same
app,
thing-
a different team.
Yes.
And once if your
Was
main
that, like, a
email is tied to your
misunderstanding?
developer,
No.
What
This
was
is
the
new
reason behind that?
policy.
that your content can't be repetitive.
That's correct. That
But
is
why?
new. Because Google says so. This is their new policy that they've just come out as part of this whole thing about being commercially viable.
And
they
this-
say it's for the kids, but it's
Yeah,
not.
okay.
It's
Right.
for control.
Right. So this is supporting the argument that the internet is no longer free.
Yes.
And free as in
Beer,
Like
beer or
like
beer.
kittens.
Yeah.
like upload whatever you want and it'll stick if it does, and if it doesn't, it'll go away. Like that's how it used to be back in the day. You just fucking threw shit at the wall and saw what stuck.
So think of it this way: that now this developer not only loses his ability to create, this is his revenue, his business,
Yeah.
but he also loses the ability to write applications, and he loses access to Google Play in general.
right. So he can't
He
even
has
be a
no
consumer.
phone services now.
Yeah, he
you
can't be a
You
consumer.
can't use Google. He has to switch to Apple.
because it bans.
I mean, that's not the worst thing.
It bans everything. Well, it
bans
is
your
if
whole-
you
your-
do your business for
yeah,
8
I
years
guess,
that
yeah.
way.
It bans your whole email address from the entire Google ecosystem, right?
I don't know about that.
That would be
Wait, so
frustrating.
so how does it? Wait, so if it doesn't ban his email
Does
address,
he
how
not
can
get-
This
he not-
happened
email
on the
address? Like, you
27th of November.
but if it-
I don't know all the details.
I was just saying, if it doesn't ban his email, then how does it stop him from using Google services as like a consumer? Like why can't he use an Android phone or whatever?
Your access is granular. Like
I'm just saying what the guy wrote.
Oh,
Okay, I don't know the details.
Like,
Do you have a link to that article?
yeah, this
yeah.
is 2 days ago. He dropped it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
okay.
So
I'll-
the
I'll
net
post it
sum
on-
though is that this is the test case that effectively you will not have a delivery platform for your stuff. It's just one more step to start blocking ports. So the free and open internet, free as in kittens or beer, is dead because they're going to, let's say one minor cyber event, say, shut down the power infrastructure for Los Angeles for 2 days. They will ban everything that's not a well-known port.
Right. So we were talking about IRC. How I was jokingly saying that
Yes.
IRC will outlast everything, and then Community Mike was saying, "Well, no, actually, because you
They'll block
can
the
shut down a
ports.
specific port." Now, I would still argue that you could probably put that on a different port, like run IRC.
You
through
can,
DNS.
but if they only allow well-known ports going to authorized DNS locations, DNSSEC, all those neat things, this is how China runs their internet. That basically that you log in with your national ID, you're only going to authorized ISPs who only allow certain port numbers, and that's it. Nothing else is allowed to go across their networks.
You know what we need?
More beer and a mesh net
And kittens.
and kittens. No, I'm not a cat person.
I mean, we have the dark net, we have the clear net / light net. No one calls it light net except for me.
You just called it the light net?
Light net, yeah. Clear net, light net, dark
that a
net.
thing?
No, I made it
Hashtag
up.
trend it.
I made it up.
I
Trend
like
it.
it.
Light
Can
net.
we call it Grey Net? Like Greynoise?
No,
Like
gray net is what we
green?
need.
Oh.
Oh, that's
we
what
need
you're saying.
we need a gray
Grey
net.
Noise Net.
We need something in the middle. That's not quite the dark net because that's
So what do
Yeah.
you? How do you define a gray
fucking
net then?
abysmal.
Yeah.
Gray net is the less. I don't want to say less regulated internet. Like there aren't five.
So
massive
you mean like
conglomerates.
the internet?
the internet from 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Yes, it's exactly that. But
It's
there also
gray
needs to be rules in place to stop this from happening again. Because there will eventually be another Facebook. There will eventually be another Google. There will eventually be whoever. But there needs to be rules in place to stop them from amassing too much control that they can like wipe out a person's entire livelihood because repetitive content or whatever.
That is
whatever.
such a stupid thing. The repetitive content
Yes,
part.
absolutely.
Community Mike.
Yeah, while that would be really nice, the assumption that the internet has is that the maze will pass all traffic, the maze being the location, the nodes, super nodes, where everything connects at tier 1, that they will pass all traffic. That is the assumption. It's a very simple thing to say because there's only 1 or 2 companies, 3 companies that control these mazes.
Yes.
They could shut it down. You could
You're
have
talking about
your,
like EXO, TW Telecom.
all of
level-
those
level
guys.
3.
Anybody who's a tier 1 provider voluntarily allows traffic to go. They don't have to. There's
Right.
no law stating that. So effectively, they could turn that off with no problems. And no gray net that you have, unless you somehow use maybe Elon Musk's, Starlink or something like that. If you're going through the networks, they own you. It's that simple.
I feel like that needs to be our next big initiative.
They've already started
No,
something
no.
like that. Or wait, what?
Us.
Oh, you, me?
Yes.
All right. The 3 of us.
There's a really cool thing called
Well-
New York City Wireless, where they've laid
Yeah,
a,
that's
a
what we're
whole
talking about. The mesh net, right?
mesh net across all
New
of
York.
New York City.
So I have a question about this. Since it is really related here, and we've talked about this like a year ago, I think.
Yes.
So the mesh net in New York, right?
Yes.
How exactly does that work? Like, so we're sharing internet across routers. Who's the backbone of that mesh net?
Well, each individual person gets a router, and
Right.
that router has a connection to the internet, whether it be through Time Warner or
Comcast, CenturyLink,
whatever the ISP is
Right.
for that particular location. But that router also runs ManNet, which is a form of a mesh networking capability, and they have super nodes that kind of link everything together using Ubiquiti equipment. And so, if you get one of their routers, Ubiquiti, the company, sorry.
Yeah.
If you get one of their routers, you plug it in, and everybody has access to the internet that they have, and they agree to share a portion of it with everybody else on the mesh. So when you connect into this 10 network, it's a 10 network, and actually I set this up in Los Angeles. I was on the New York network in Los Angeles using a 10 tunnel.
You got a 10 address.
Yes, 10 address with a tunnel going back to New York City, and I was able to share their bandwidth, and they were able to share my bandwidth. So what it does is
So everybody's sharing everybody's bandwidth.
everybody shares everybody's bandwidth, and it's completely unrestricted, but it still connects to the internet via the local,
Right, so they can't just shut down that traffic on the back end.
the back end would be open only if you have connectivity to the internet. It doesn't like just something has to connect to the internet to connect these nodes together. They don't connect by themselves.
So right, okay.
And except for locally with over wireless, and then you've got like a couple mile limit. There's a local provider that does that, for example. But effectively, it allows you to get some limited networking, but it relies on the internet for internet services, DNS, the routing, the VPNs, all that. It assumes there's internet. It's designed to overcome the delays for installing local networks, or cable networks and DSL and stuff, the last mile, because there's huge delays for the local providers because of the unions. That's the reason. That's the genesis of New York City Wireless, is that it takes a long time to get internet, so they share. But effectively, it's not a solution that's scalable without some sort of internet access at each point, or something like that.
So would it be similar to like Tor exit nodes?
Yeah, conceptually, yes.
Yeah, like I
Kinda
mean, just
like
where
that.
you could potentially get service from
Little bits
Yeah,
here
little
and
bits
there.
here and there. Like okay.
So, I mean, it was great for the museum I installed it for. It was 56 acres, and running lines across that was too long. So we used a mesh network to route everything locally and then connect it to the New York Wireless mesh network for internet access for everybody. And then we shared our access, which was like a little DSL of 28K or something ridiculous like that, because the museum couldn't afford anything. So we were able to share that and get that justification.
Right.
So it works, but fundamentally, you have to have the internet for DNS services, for all of those IP services. They can turn that all off very easily these days.
Yeah. I think if the mesh network fails and if all these things fail, we're going to go back to the sneaker net, where you just kind of share USB keys and hard drives of. See, it worked in
Yeah.
Cuba.
And my thing is always like people aren't going to want to do that, but I feel like if you're at a point where you
I
don't
mean,
have
if you have,
Dude, if you have to, you're gonna
that's-
do it.
That's what I was coming around to say. If you don't have a choice, you will learn to use it. And I mean, it's not that difficult. It's a little difficult, but it's not that difficult.
I mean, okay, so I just want to point out that, so at schools here, these are like in middle school, kids will connect to a VPN and have learned to connect
Commonly?
to.
Like it's a
Yes,
common thing?
yes,
Okay.
the kids in middle school here will connect to a VPN so they can do what they want, because the Wi-Fi there and the access signal sucks so bad with the Wi-Fi that the school has,
Yes.
that it limits so much of traffic of what they're allowed to get on, that they will now connect to a VPN and they've learned to
That's
do
taught
that.
by other kids, right? Like other
Yeah,
kids.
other kids, and this
Okay.
is a whole
I
thing
will
in
say
middle
it.
school that one kid figured it out and they all now do it, and so
I
they
did
all
that. I
figured
did
it
that
out,
in
and
high
it's
school
like,
too.
Right, but
It could be like who we are.
okay, so I agree and I disagree here because
but I feel like if they
The-
have a motivation, they'll
Right,
do
yes,
it. They'll figure it
yeah.
out. Yeah.
no, so
Absolutely.
that's why I'm kind of like in the middle here because there's been times where Doxy argues that like we're technical people, we'll find technical means, et cetera, so that means we'll find these technical solutions. Not everybody's going to do that, right? But then on the other hand, you have the one technical person figure it out, and then all the people who aren't necessarily technical, the technical person just says, follow these steps, you'll get a VPN, you'll get a connection to the outside, boom. So they don't have to be technical. They just put in these configurations in their phone, their device, whatever, and now everybody has the same technical ability as the person who's like really technically inclined.
Yes. And I know
There's a lot
this
of technicals.
I know this is really cumbersome for the person who is technically inclined to add on to your technically. But to like, I feel like it's bad when people don't understand why they're connected to something or why they're doing things a certain way, right? And I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
the onus isn't on that person to teach them all. But
Yeah, I
thought,
don't think that most kids even understand what the VPN is actually
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
They just understand that,
And-
I just put
Yeah.
this on here, I do, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a problem for the future that we need to solve. But like, I feel like the onus is on the person teaching to like actually teach and not just say, hey, follow this step and this step and this step and this step, and then you're connected, and like don't ever talk to me again. But like they should.
I mean, you have hackers who are script kiddies who don't know how to write anything and they just run the program.
Yes, because someone was like, hey, you can use this to get access to this thing that you're trying to do, and then they use that, and then they never think about it again because like this works, and if it doesn't work or if it breaks for no reason, they have no idea what they're even looking at. And some are inquisitive enough to like get in and learn, but most people, I don't want to say most people, people just like kind of they're like, okay, click the button, it works, it does a thing, and then I'm done with
Yeah,
it.
most people do go about life in general like that.
Yeah, you're just on autopilot most of the time.
They have no idea why they do what they do. They just do it because that's what you do.
Yeah, but the way that you described the whole middle school situation where like they're connecting to VPNs and whatnot, these kinds of things give me faith in the future because, excuse me, people will find a way.
Yeah.
I've always thought that. I've never.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's called hacking. Thank you, audience member.
Yes.
He said it perfectly. It's called hacking.
I have no doubt about that. I just, and there's always people who take the initiative and learn the stuff, and the other people who just kind of use what they're given, use the tools they're given. I think we should make more of an effort to teach why these things are important.
My question is that if people don't care, it's really hard to teach someone who doesn't care to learn.
Well, they'll care though when they don't have access to.
No, they'll learn how to get it working, but they don't want to care why it's working. Or
No, I know, but they don't need to.
Like it takes a certain mindset to actually care why things work the way they do.
I disagree only because I think it's the way it's presented. If you present it in a way where it's like, hey, click this button, you get access to your games or whatever kids do. But if you teach them the reason behind it, like you can't get access to this because, like, you have to, you have to frame it.
You obviously don't know many middle schoolers.
No. So what I was going to say to both, what I'm saying to both your points is, people will learn up to the point that they need to. If they only need to learn a couple of steps to get the access that they want, like downloading a pirated version of Frozen 2, as an example, or whatever. Access to Disney Plus resources like the latest episode of Mandalorian without.
That's a fucking dope show.
I haven't seen it yet, but I want to. But without paying for that access, they just need to do these things and have it.
Yes.
That's the point at which they're willing to learn, and then that's it.
I think it depends on how you frame it.
Okay.
Like if you tell them, they're just like, hey, you do this thing, you can download shows for free that you would have to pay for otherwise, and it's like, oh cool, this is like all I want. I just want to download free shows. But if you give them the broader picture about why it's important to like be able to access the darknet or access networks like free networks, or not free networks, but networks unregulated, like VPNs and stuff, all that. Like just give them the broader reason about why it's important. I mean, people want to know. I say we, like the hacker, we don't really tell people. We assume they're going to learn it on their own, or that they have enough initiative or gumption to learn it on their own. I think that's a problem on both sides. I
mean, I've made several points on the show about it being, you hate RTFM, and unfortunately, that's a lot of the ways that the hacker culture.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, hey, here's like either like, hey, just like fucking figure it out, take this, get it done. Or some people, you're a teacher. You teach all the fucking time. You're
all the fucking time.
Is that not accurate?
No, I just like the way Doxy describes it.
Yeah, you're taking the extra steps to explain why it's important and why they need to know these things. And like outside of just like, write these scripts, do these things. These are the loops. Blah blah blah. You're like, this is why you want to learn these things. This is why it's important for you in your future.
Yeah, but so I would argue. So the type of teacher that. Well, and from what I understand, Chen, that most of the time when you teach, these are kids who are actually interested in the subject, who are wanting to learn. So I was a substitute teacher for like years,
right. So,
and there are situations where if they just don't want to learn, it's really hard to teach someone.
Ooh, now
for sure.
No matter how, use different ways of trying and stuff. It's
okay,
a whole.
I want to address what you're saying here.
Yeah.
But this is going to get into my teaching philosophy. So let's go to Community Mike first, and then I'll answer your.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
so let's take a different example of none of us really. I mean, I'd say most of us in this room really don't care about how generally acceptable accounting principles work, but it's fundamental to our stuff.
Yeah.
So, do you want to learn how the gap and how it applies to you and your business and every transaction you make?
If I had a business, yes.
But no, just to make the transaction, because that's what you're asking by saying, well, people should understand how this works. Accountants, when I worked for Ernst & Young, that's exactly what accountants would say, is they should just care why we do generally accepted accounting principles. You don't, because you don't care when you buy that Big Mac or whatever. You want the freaking Big Mac.
But I think, I feel like it's different because technology is a part, especially now, a part of like every facet of our lives.
So is generally acceptable accounting principles.
Everything
you do is governed by dollars.
That is true.
Okay.
That is true.
So my point is that do you care what they are?
Okay. Again, as I was saying to them, no one has framed it to me this way. So I've never heard this term before because no one's ever explained it to me this way. Which is what I'm saying. Like we should take the time to explain it in a way that makes it more important to people.
Would you be willing to take that time versus playing Overwatch?
Yes, if it's a thing.
Okay,
that's,
well, I can educate you on Gap if you'd like.
I absolutely would.
No problem.
He's not going to do it.
I will.
I would
will.
do it.
No, absolutely, for
I
sure.
like learning things.
Gap is
Yeah.
great. We'll do a Fozzie hour on Gap.
Fozzie
Yes.
Owl, guys, let's do it.
It should, but like this, that's my thing. Is like the way it's framed for people is either it's a means to an end or it's something that you should actually care about. And most people don't go the route of it's something you should care about.
Yeah, most people don't care in general because they're busy playing Overwatch and buying burgers and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
That's
it
my
was-
point.
My two
People-
favorite things.
Yeah.
Well,
Learning things, it takes a lot of time.
so I wanted to address the whole teaching thing that you
Yeah,
brought
so-
up, Michelle. So, okay, for those of you who don't know, this episode is sponsored by Chenbox Development.
Sponsored.
No, yeah, we're totally sponsored. So I only have a handful of students. Like, it's not like I have a whole dojo like I used to, but I'm going to have a dojo of coder
Did
ninjas.
you call them dojo?
Dojos, yeah.
Dojo for your coding?
Coding dojos. Anyway, like, yeah. Look, it's not a brick and mortar place. I make house calls, whatever. I teach a handful of kids, okay? Now, I actually have a mixed bag on this because I have a couple of kids who, and they're all about 16 and younger, like, but of course, they didn't seek me out and say, I want to learn. Their parents did, right? But I have students who are like, yeah, this is great, let's learn. And those are actually pretty easy to teach. But I also have the challenges, which are like the kids who, like, their parents understand the importance of maybe them knowing a little bit of code. And while they might find things interesting, they're not like
So
jumping at the idea of
And
like learning Python 3.
this is getting into education and the system in general, but these kids, I'm gonna jump to a guess, and correct me if I'm wrong. If they're paying for lessons outside, they're from a different demographic of kids, where
Right.
their family can
No, you're
can
absolutely right.
afford
You're absolutely
to
right.
pay for
Yes, that's
extracurricular education to learn to code. I mean, these aren't kids who are worrying. Like, I substitute for kids who we would give them food to take home because they didn't have food
Right.
when they weren't
Yeah.
at school.
You're absolutely
So
right.
teaching them to even care about learning anything was when all they worried about was if they were going to eat, if they were safe at home, if their little sister was going to be able to eat, if they're, it's a completely different mindset.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I'm
you know.
I'm
Yeah,
not
and
arguing
that's-
that point.
yes,
I'm not
that's-
arguing that point at all.
But a lot of people grow up in that life where and a lot of Americans, they, they don't think about learning in the same way that everybody does. They think about, this is how you get through life. This is what you do to eat. This is what you do to.
We talked about this a long time ago.
No, I'm not arguing
Yeah.
that point. I understand that the demographics that I'm teaching is completely different from like substitute teaching and maybe where you're substitute teaching. I'm not arguing that point. What I'm saying though is like when it comes down to it, like you're there, you've been paid to teach, you're teaching. Then at that point, how do you grab their attention? Because we're talking about VPNs and like, do they care? Do
Yeah.
they want to care? At that point, whether they care or not, I, as a somewhat entertaining person, I have to keep their interest.
Yeah.
I have
But
to keep.
and there is, like, even in teaching, like, there are ways to get kids engaged. There are ways to get kids, like, and those are always the more rewarding kids. Those are the ones that you see at the beginning when you start teaching them that they don't care, they're not even paying attention. And to try to get them engaged, try to, figure out what's going on in their life, why they're not paying attention. Because kids do, in general, they are like sponges. They do want to learn. And people, I think it is natural for us to be curious and to want to learn. I think it just depends on what life does to us and to change that and make it to where it's about getting by instead of about learning. Or if life happens and you are worried about eating, you're not going to be worried about learning. Or
That's very accurate.
and learning about what these kids, what they like or what interests them, or even
Right,
just
but-
teaching them in different ways.
Okay, so
But yeah.
so let's take the teaching out of it. Well, not the teaching out of it, but okay. So you have these kids who are going to the same middle school.
Mm-hmm.
They all have smartphones to the point where like they're teaching other kids to use a VPN. So they have that resource to
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
them. So going back to them caring how it works or not, they don't care. They just care that it works,
Yes.
not how it works.
Until it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But then they're probably going to go to that technical person and say, okay, well, this shit broke. Let's make this work again. Like, I remember.
I don't think they would say let's make it work. I think they would say make
Make
this,
it work.
Make this work.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. So way back, when the statute of limitations
Has expired.
has
now.
expired. Yeah, thank you for that. Let's be real. There are kids in high school who like would burn CDs of like the latest and greatest music that just came out,
Yeah.
and then would sell that shit for $6 a pop. Look,
I mean, yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is you have the technical person who then distributes knowledge or resources or whatever to the people who don't have.
So that's just
Yes.
yeah.
It's just a natural thing. We're talking about CDs. Back then, for those of you who don't know, that's a compact disc. And then VPNs, virtual private network. but it's it goes back further than that. But what was that? There we go, division of labor. See, but what I'm saying is everybody's on the same page. There's nothing new here. It's a fractal. It's the same shit, different.
But I think we can
Same principle, different
as
shit.
things become more technological and that as thing progresses. You know, when I was in high school, nobody was connecting to any VPNs because that just wasn't a thing.
Well, they didn't
because
need to.
Well,
They didn't need
because
to back
nobody
then.
had smartphones.
I mean, but even on your normal desktops, VPN. I use VPNs back in the day on my normal desktop, not on.
When you say back in the day, I'm
In
talking like
high
when I
school.
was in middle
In,
school.
like,
When I was in high school, I was happy I had Snake on my phone. So
I did not have a phone, but I knew how to use a VPN.
Okay, let me use
Yeah.
my example really quick, and then we'll go to community mic. I didn't know how to tunnel traffic, encrypted traffic, until my first DEF CON, because I had no idea that threat was a thing. And then the people who were at DEF CON were like, "Oh, dude, before you go on the internet or before you connect to this network, do it this way because." And they told me why. Now, yes, I'm a technical person, but again, I didn't know that it was a solution until the need arose.
Yes.
So.
But I think that there are, before we go to community, I
ahead.
think there is a level of learning that's happening, even if they don't realize it. Like,
Absolutely,
my daughter
absolutely. Okay.
understands what a VPN, at least in some understanding, does, and at least how that they can kind of bypass what's happening there, the restrictions on the internet they're at
Yes.
by using this VPN.
Right, I agree.
And I think that's something that as society progresses to be more advanced technologically, that will happen naturally. That
Absolutely.
the level of everybody knows how to type. Even well, not
Because they
everybody,
need
but-
to. See?
Actually, I saw
the need arose.
I saw a thing about that. Well, let's go to community mic first. And
Yeah,
I'll come back
community
to
mic.
everything.
I think the difference is that, all these fundamental things you're talking about, I agree and understand. But when it comes to internet access and access to information, if you don't know what's out there, there's no possible way to learn that stuff. So, for example, in North Korea, those people just don't know about the stuff. They're
Wait.
getting their
Yeah.
internet
Like-
via USB.
If you don't know what you don't know, you can't.
That's
you
correct.
Can't ask
But
about
you
it.
can't know
Exactly.
what you don't
Right.
know.
And,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
when we have these walled gardens that are being stood up, whether they be Disney Plus or Google, things like that, we won't know that we've been cut off. We'll have no way to find that out.
We'll be in an echo chamber that we can't escape.
That is correct.
Right.
Yo, talk about bringing it full circle. Thank you, community Mike. No, but seriously, these are the things that we're talking about today. All this is kind of coming full circle and making sense. I mean,
Yeah.
So when we say these walled gardens, you're just saying that
Like the giant conglomerates of like.
they're choosing what we're getting access to
Yes,
instead
Yes,
of us
exactly.
choosing.
So like with Disney Plus, like Community Mike said, if you watch Star Wars on there, the original 4, 5, 6, they've been modified. Like they have the George Lucas edits, and then there are also other edits in there. And if you didn't know, you can never watch the original
like 1970 whatever version.
1977, 1980. Like you can never watch those again unless you have them on VHS because they don't exist. Like they don't exist anymore. That you can't get access to them unless you have a copy of the original. Because even like the DVD release or like the re-release or the Blu-ray release, George Lucas
What
keeps,
they've changed?
Dude,
What have they
that's-
changed?
like
The
George Lucas
CGI
had,
and
he
shit,
had the
right?
CGI.
Oh.
Yeah.
And also the Han and Greedo scene, the fuck with who shot first. They fucked that all up. Like they keep altering the
I have
movie.
the
Don't you think
original ones
that's-
of VHS.
Oh, you save those. That's gonna be
Save them.
valuable.
Like, those
that's
are a
the thing.
commodity.
Don't you think that's a disservice to art?
Well, this is getting into like 1984. Like this is what they could
Right.
change.
Right,
The
right, right.
information changed.
It's
the
such a
books
disservice
you
to
could
the art.
change.
Yeah, but I was just reading
Literature
Community
you
Mike
can
about
change.
like about what you don't have access to because now that we have Disney Plus, everyone's like, oh, I never need to buy Star Wars again. Like
So
I
they
have.
just throw out all their DVDs and VHS.
Yeah, exactly. And now they'll be watching. They'll be like, oh fuck, this isn't even what I wanted to watch because it doesn't have the Han and Greedo scene that I thought it was or whatever. Community Mike.
So fundamentally, we're in the equivalent of Soviet Russia, where people disappeared out of pictures. And we don't know it. And
Yeah.
here's the best part is that we think we're free and we're not. Mm-hmm. We're so much more restricted than we were in the 70s or the 80s.
There's another podcast I was listening to that was just talking about this. Just this. Like, making people
We're
disappear.
being boiled alive from it. We think we know everything because we see this tidal wave of noise. with very low information content.
Are you sure that's just not the buzzsaw on the back?
It's partially, but at least that I understand what that is. This cacophony of out there that people are generating of pictures of their breakfast and stuff is drowning out any true information transfer and just sheer volume. So fundamentally, I believe that we have less information on actionable data than we ever did in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, or pre-social media, or even pre-captured garden.
Absolutely. I would absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, agreed.
Damn it, I don't like agreeing with you.
What, with me?
Yeah.
Man, you agree with Community Mike.
Yeah. Because he said...
Why are you so contrarian?
Because he said the thing about Greedo and Han. I feel like that's a really important point that more people should realize.
Okay.
I think it is. I think that's interesting.
All right,
And
final-
I think it's even like in literature. I remember it started in high school. I remember Huckleberry Finn. They talked about changing, that they were going to change
Oh, right.
the
Or like, what
Huckleberry
was it?
Finn. And some of the
To Kill a Mockingbird, too. They were going to
Yeah.
make some edits to
yeah,
that.
edits, yeah. But it's like what I understand the mindset behind it, but at what level do we stop? At what point do we stop changing things to
Never. The
Yeah,
answer is
but-
never. As long as I don't know. I don't want to get too into it, but never.
yeah.
Truth is relatives.
Yeah, truth is
Truth
relative.
is relative,
We're
yeah,
getting
that's-
yelled at.
Shouldn't be accurate.
Final thoughts on this before we move on to something else?
We have something else?
Yeah, we have something else.
I'm just kidding. I'm good.
We have something else.
Do it.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you guys. Doing something different because fuck the lightning round. Not fuck the lightning round, but god damn it, it's so hard when everything's clickbait, right? Like we're talking about like the flood
Nobody
of noise
said
and
right.
information.
I like how you
What?
right.
Right?
Right.
Right, guys? Right? No. So now that Thanksgiving is over, everything is about Christmas. Whether you celebrate it or not, I want to know what you guys want for Christmas.
What I want for Christmas?
Because who knows, man? Maybe Saint Chen. I almost said my real name. Maybe Saint
that
Chen
was
might,
a little,
get a little something for you guys. McNutt, I have this question for you too. You could answer later if you don't want to say anything.
What do you want for Christmas?
Yeah. Have you guys ever thought about it?
No, I'm an adult, so what I want for Christmas is what I buy throughout the year. I want a new,
Nerd
yes.
jokes.
Yeah, I want a new meta in Overwatch. No. Yeah. Yes, right? If I could just fucking have
They're only hearing one half of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry, we'll
this
talk about
is
that
Community
afterwards.
Mike. They're talking about nerdy shit.
No, I don't. Okay, so I have two problems with gift giving.
He's like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
What is? Why don't I never watch it? What is?
He had a problem with big gift giving because I give you a gift, you're obligated to give me a gift back.
And then why you could just buy yourself the same gift
Yeah,
instead
and
of
that's
buying
like-
the
that is
other
not
person?
the
Yeah.
issue.
you keep doing this until somebody dies and then somebody's out the whole gift giving
No,
cycle.
that is not what. That's my issue with it.
Oh, well then shit.
It's,
So what is it?
It's so whatever hobbies I may have, obviously I know more about them than you do, and like as a casual person, looking into my hobbies, you're like, oh, I see this like superficial thing that he would probably love, and I'm like, that's stupid because of whatever arbitrary reason.
I'll just see something Spider-Man and call it good.
Okay, that one would probably work.
See? Boom!
But for like most hobbies, I feel like it's not worth it. Someone trying to get me a gift. If you wanted to get me a gift because you wanted to get me something, I would prefer you get me something that you think I would enjoy because of you, right?
Yeah.
You want to burn that shirt.
Don't give me something
a
from a
Spider-Man
hobby
shirt
that
to
I
replace
have
it.
because not to be like rude about it, but like I know the hobby better than you, and anything I want, if I have the means, I probably already got
Okay,
it,
but
or I'm on my way to getting.
Think about your shirt and think about who got it for you and why he got it for you.
Because
yeah,
cheese makes
no,
you
like
drive.
this is something I never would have bought or even thought to buy for myself. So this is a great gift.
And now you want to burn it because of what it stands
I don't
for.
want to.
He does want to burn it.
I
Just
don't want to burn it because what it stands for. I mean, I did say that. Don't check the replay. I did say that, but
Wait, did you say that on air or before the show?
I don't know.
I
Honestly.
don't
we
remember.
gotta
It's on air. It's on air now. But like I said, like this is a great gift because it's not something I would have expected or something that I would have bought for myself.
I think those are the best gifts. It's
Those are
things
the best
that people
gifts,
that
like-
I wouldn't know to buy
Like,
for myself.
If you're super into something and like maybe I've like mentioned it before, fucking do that. Or like if I've never mentioned it before, give me something anyway, like a super tiny small thing that you're like, oh, here you go, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's really cool. Don't give me anything that I already enjoy.
Michelle?
I
gave you time to think. He gave you time to think.
Yeah, no, but I wasn't thinking like that. So I'm in the sense that I actually like surprises, and I don't like telling people what I want for Christmas or what I want because it's not the same. So what do you want for Christmas? Let's do that first because usually when you ask a question, Chen, you want
she's
someone
doing
to
the
ask
social
you the
engineering
question.
thing.
So what do you want for Christmas?
Oh, I could answer this so many different ways, but now Doxy's convinced me that I should hate Christmas too.
I don't
No,
hate
he
Christmas.
loves Christmas. That's his
I
favorite
love
holiday.
Christmas.
That's his favorite.
Christmas is my absolute favorite.
Is it your favorite holiday?
It is.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
talked about this
last
before.
week. We talked about this
It's
last
my
week.
absolute favorite
or 2
holiday.
weeks ago.
Jeez Louise.
So okay, well,
So what do you want for Christmas?
you guys,
You
togetherness,
fucker.
togetherness. I meant togetherness.
Togetherness.
I'm gonna body slam you too.
That's kind of what I want. See, I know how to troll him. Okay, next question, and then this will be the last one. We'll close out. I know it's early. And maybe you haven't even thought about it because it's not December 31st.
New Year's resolutions.
No, I fucking hate that word.
Oh, okay.
Just goals
New
for
Year's
2020.
goals. Oh, fucking New Year's.
Fuck that. Like, no, seriously.
That's pretty much the same
Wait.
thing.
No, it's not. It's not the same thing.
What are my goals for 2020?
Like, what do you want to do differently? Because, like, here's the thing.
That's a fucking New Year's
This
resolution.
year, I wanted to learn how to moonwalk, and I failed.
Did you not?
that was
I mean, I still have a month.
That was your goal for 2020?
Like
Yeah.
to learn to moonwalk? And
Yeah,
that was it? That was it.
No, that's
that
one.
Was your...
No, that's one of my goals.
Oh. Okay.
My goal for 2020 is to reach masters in Overwatch.
To reach, that's your goal?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Cool.
He said moonwalk. He said moonwalk.
I guess it's true.
He said moonwalk.
That's not a bad goal.
Neither is reaching masters
Can
in
you
Overwatch.
moonwalk?
Can I moonwalk? Yeah.
I can
But
attempt to moonwalk.
also, if I not masters, but if I level up in Overwatch, eventually I can hit the esports arena. That's a monetary gain.
Yeah, okay.
So you like play at Luxor or something? So
Yeah. Oh, so what?
You want to go pro.
Yeah, I want to go pro. Exactly. That's my goal. I want to go
that's
pro.
your goal. You want to go
I
pro.
want to go pro Overwatch.
You want to
Pro
go pro.
Overwatch.
Maybe Apex, but I'm gutter trash at that, so probably not Apex. Mostly Overwatch.
All right, Michelle.
I just want my life to be like stable. That's it. I'm good.
Okay, that's fair.
That's a good goal.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, easy peasy. Yeah.
Cool.
What about you? What's your goal?
My goal is to learn how to moonwalk.
Again, that's carryover goal.
Hey, if I
You
don't
should-
accomplish the goal, I'm gonna carry it on to the
I
next
think you
year.
should just give up. And
And
that
you-
way you have to learn
Wow,
it if
thank
you
you.
really
Like
want to
you
learn
said,
it. But
yeah.
it puts a deadline to where you feel like you have to learn
You
it or else
said
you'll never
and.
learn it.
Moonwalk and.
And
Oh, so I've had this Arduino kit.
Oh yeah, I remember you got that for like Christmas like 2 years ago.
Shut up.
I remember that.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, I'm like 100% a software person, and I would like to get better at hardware, whether it be 3D printing, not cutting my finger off in the back there, and I'd like to be better at hardware.
Repinning.
Yes, I told you. Okay, so for the okay, like what, is it 2 months ago now?
Yeah.
Michelle actually was running a big portion of the lockpick night where we were repinning locks. So not just picking the lock, but like repinning them so that
Guiding
you
them
could-
and
yeah, exactly.
assembling and
And
reassembling.
I told her, I warned her first. My hands shake.
And he has bad eyes.
I have bad
and he
eyes.
has
My
a
hands
whole
shake,
list
and
of
that's why I can't
excuses.
take good pictures. Okay. And so I'm here with these fucking tweezers and this fucking thing, and I'm shaking. It took me like how
a
long?
while.
It took me like an hour and a half.
Oh, maybe okay, hour and a half.
It took me like an hour to repin a 5-pin lock. So
But
I didn't
it was
lie
just,
to you.
It was just, yeah. I mean, you did a good job gutting it, but then to put the springs and the pins back in, it was a mess.
Yes. By the way, lockpick is in 2 weeks, 2 Mondays from now. So be here
Or being square.
Or don't be here.
or don't be
That's
here.
the other option.
No, we'd
Those are-
rather you be
those are
here.
three
That's the
options.
option.
So would you guys rather I do the lightning round then instead of ask these stupid fucking questions?
Oh no, I like questions. Do it.
I like questions, but I thought we did like something unique lightning round thing now that people were supposed to shout out from the audience.
People
and
ask,
we
but people ask weird questions sometimes, and they scare me.
Yeah, like combustible engines, and I'm like,
Well, I think,
fuck. What am I supposed to
is
say about
there
that? I don't know
anyone
shit
here
about
who would
cars.
ask weird questions? I don't know.
Is there? Yes, all
Okay.
of them.
All of you're okay.
If you're reading the live stream, yes.
All of them.
So I think we should still do it because I think it keeps us on our
we
toes.
could
It's
try
healthy.
one. We could try one.
One
Okay,
question.
how about this? We do one, and if it's good, we'll do
Oh,
another one. So
pressure.
now it's up to the audience. All right, so here's how this lightning round's gonna work. You yell out a subject. We're gonna give our tweets. Keep it STEM related, please, if you can. We're gonna give our tweets.
Combustion engines is STEM related.
I know, and I have no opinion on it. We're
Okay.
gonna give our tweets length of an opinion, and then we'll move on. Starting with Doxy. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
What's STEM?
What's STEM?
Starting with
Yes.
starting with me.
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Yes. And if you want to say STEAM, there's art.
Yeah, I
in
was
there.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's art.
Is
there
it
too.
STEM or STEAM? Like which one?
STEAM has arts and
So which one are which one do you guys
I think
hold in
STEAM.
higher
I
regard?
think art is quite important as well. I think creative, like
what do you
artistic
mean?
creativity.
Which one do we think it is? They're two separate things. There's not which one. It's just
Are there two? I thought they were like the same.
Two separate
Are they-
things.
are they
Okay, so
separate
do you
things?
prefer STEM or STEAM?
I prefer STEAM, but
I think
I'm artistic.
STEAM. I think
so-
artistic creativity is important
But-
too.
Yeah.
All right, cool. See, that was a good one. All right, ready? Next one. 3, 2, 1.
Cybertruck.
Cybertruck.
Oh,
shit. We didn't even
Again?
fucking talk about that shit.
Again?
We didn't talk about it last week.
We didn't talk about it. It just came out
We
this
talked
week.
about it.
Wait, did we talk about it last week?
Yes, and
We
how
did.
ugly it was.
We did. Oh shit.
Oh, we were
And
drunk.
how it like the
forgot.
stocks like crashed right out right there.
Wait,
like,
they didn't crash?
Broke the window.
Like
with the
Tesla's
window,
like
they
we
did the
didn't talk
test,
about
and then
that.
yes, like if some shit happened.
Wait, you were here last week.
One night.
On this
twice.
podcast?
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys need to stop drinking.
Was Doxy here last week?
Yes.
Oh shit, was he?
All right.
I
he was here last week.
I don't
So
think,
apparently this is a whole retweet situation here.
All right,
Let's do one
retweet.
more.
Whatever we said last week, retweet. Okay, let's do it one more time. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Pepsi or Coke?
Ooh.
Uh,
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Pepsi.
Ooh. RC
You
Cola.
mean Pepsi for when there is no Coke.
I mean Pepsi for when the only time I would want Coke is when I'm cleaning off my battery terminals.
Really?
That's it.
Oh yeah.
That's it. It does a really good job for cleaning off
It
battery
does,
terminals.
but-
Otherwise,
And then you
Pepsi,
want to put that
please.
in your body.
Yeah.
body.
Batty.
Yeah.
What
Hey,
a-
I just said space
What
earlier
a,
this
what,
Space.
episode.
what a nice
Use heart
round
per
of
squash.
questioning.
See, there you go. Boom.
The squash.
Hacker space, hacker spaz, hacker
space.
spaz, spaz.
Spaz.
I'm definitely a spaz today. All right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of the
Just
show,
today.
which, as you can always tell, we've run out of time, but never out of shit to say. So join us again next week, which apparently we will be here next week.
Not
Uh,
we.
Wait,
You haven't discussed
Me,
this yet.
Shell.
You haven't brought this up yet.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it off the show. Wait,
No, I meant to the people to let them know that you guys won't be here.
we're going to be on assignment.
Fucking A.
Doxy and I are going to be on assignment, but Michelle will still be doing the show next week, along with Lido Dude. Lido Dude.
Is that his
Well,
handle?
that's the handle.
Okay, I
That's
just
his
wanna
handle.
make
So
sure
he'll
you-
be on the show with Michelle. So you guys will have fun,
Yeah?
and we'll be on assignment.
It'll be amazing.
Doing crazy shit.
I'll
yeah.
be I'll be in the live stream.
Y'all should send pictures.
Oh yeah, yeah,
No,
definitely.
I don't take pictures.
No, not you.
No,
Him pictures.
Doxy's gonna take pictures of me.
I would
Yes.
never. We're not
Wow.
we're not going somewhere together.
Woo, they are.
We're not going somewhere together.
Technically, you guys
to
will both
clarify.
be somewhere together.
Dick pics.
Technically, you guys will both
Well,
be
okay.
I
somewhere
mean,
together.
it is Christmas.
Why? What?
What?
Why is that?
You scared her. All right. So as you can tell, we've run out of time, but never out of shit to say. Join us again next week. We will be here, same time and channel. I was gonna
Same,
do it.
did it, yeah.
I was gonna do it. I'm glad I
Should be.
didn't. Anyway, we are at the SYN Shop. The address is 1075 American Pacific Drive, Suite C in Henderson, Nevada. We are still the Las Vegas Valley Hacker Space. So come check us out if you're not here live. Also, I didn't say it earlier, but join our Discord so that you can chat with us live all week long, not just tonight. Go to SYNShop. Did I say synshop.org? synshop.org for information on the space. Go to meetup.com/synshop for the appointments and the events and the stuff that we do here. If you hear that buzzsaw, you could learn how to use it too. And for
think they can
information
hear
on
it.
us as a podcast, go to Greynoise, GREYNOI.se. Remember, we do not talk shit about Sweden, at least not all of us, so we could still use that domain, Doxy. All right, guys, my name is Master Chen.
This is Doxy.
And this is Michelle.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Who have I ever talked shit about?
I'm kidding.